online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Sleepy Hollow fans! Hello, Sleepyheads! Welcome back to the Sleepy Hollow After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV, talking about Season 2, Episode 7, Deliverance. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me as always, the panel's all here. Stephen Lemieux is here. Hey! Zach Wilson is here.
What up?
Jacque Borowski is here.
Holla, holla.
Sean is our engineer tonight. Hello, Sean.
Yo, yo, yo.
Oh, my
Sean's
goodness.
wearing a nice hat.
Yes, he is.
Have a nice hat.
He's got a
Go,
very
Sean.
nice hat on.
Props to Sean's hat.
You go, Sean.
So this episode...
2 for you, Sean. None for you, Matt Lieberman.
Why? Because I think that this is the best, most focused episode of this season so far.
There shall be words.
There shall be words
exchanged.
There shall be words exchanged. I believe that we are at 2150 on the pun jar.
After my tweet today, it was 2150.
Yeah, it was 21 at the end of last episode, and then he tweeted a pun that was so bad. Someone called pun jar on.
What was it?
They were talking about, Henry Parrish said that he was trapped in that box for eternity, and I was like, are you talking about underground, or are you talking about Katrina when she was pregnant with you?
That's what I'm saying. So it's 2150.
But I feel like it's 22 because the title of this episode was Deliverance.
Yes.
Right.
And that's like worse than half of the pun jars that we've had.
Fine,
so
we'll go with 22. We'll do a fresh Sleepington Abbey at the end of the episode.
I want to give a shout out to Eric Olin, who's watching us live right now.
Hey, Eric, how are you, man? Glad to have you.
People who tell me that they're watching it live and are staying up as late as we are, and in some cases even later because they're on the East Coast. Props to you guys.
Many, many props.
Because Matt is just as tired as you guys.
It's so true. Okay.
He's tired, guys.
So this episode, I loved it. I felt like it had an energy and a focus to it that has been lacking for me this season.
You guys want to know why he liked it?
He likes birth.
He likes
Matt
that
likes
Holly
the
was
focus
not
of
in it.
birth.
The only reason
okay.
he likes it is because it didn't have Holly in it.
That didn't even cross my mind as to why.
Sure.
It didn't even cross my mind. No, it kicked off with a bang. It knew what story it wanted to tell. It wasted no time in doing so.
And I felt like we actually had good writing for every character. We had good writing for Headless. We had good writing for Katrina-ish. And we had
good writing for Katrina-ish, Jackie.
well, better writing for Katrina.
Fine.
I'm sorry, but the whole, they tie her up again in another situation in which she can't do much except for make a piece of paper, by the doorway, which, oh, by the way, you could just string up a piece of paper and some pots and pans and have the same effect.
Baby steps.
But
baby steps.
she was wearing a corset, so it was sexy.
Even that was weird, though.
Okay.
And
Why
so awesome.
was that
so
weird?
good.
No, that was an interesting outfit. I like that outfit.
There are 2 reasons why that's weird.
What are the 2? Are they the 2 that I'm thinking of, or no?
No, I guess not. No, those are good reasons. But well, no, the main reason, at one point later, she opens it up and has a shirt on, a normal looking
A tank top.
Why did she need the corset?
Because she's used to it. That's what she's used to wearing. I think that shirt, though,
might have actually been like an old-timey chemise, where it wasn't actually sewn
shirt.
like a normal shirt.
Yeah.
It's just a chemise that people wear under the corset.
I like that our main topic about Katrina, who should be hypothetically one of the main characters of this show, is her corset.
It's because they made her literally barefoot and pregnant in the episode. Nothing makes me more angry. Literally.
Okay, but are you at least willing to stipulate?
I thought swallowing ensured you didn't get pregnant.
Oh, okay. No. I'm not. Okay. You should have to pay $5 whole of your own money. I should not have to freaking pay any money for that. How dare you?
Yes.
That was terrible. terrible. And I have a very weird looking mustache on my face, and I think that was terrible.
Yes. Jackie.
Does this mean, because everybody on the panel has got a weird mustache, does this mean I have to grow one?
Yes. Jackie, are you at least willing to stipulate that the episode had a propulsive plot that started immediately and was a very, very firm... Like, what I liked about it was that this was all a story. It was just, we are in...
But it wasn't. It was all... What this episode was to me was an episode that didn't say anything about the overarching theme. This was a completely isolated episode.
Hey,
so,
guys.
yes, it had a story that went from beginning to end, but what drove me crazy is that we didn't learn anything about what our
learned about Jeremy.
We learned about the Hellfire Club, and we learned that their plan was to get Moloch out of purgatory, and that's something we haven't seen before.
But well, here's the thing, and like where I think that the overlap is here. I think this episode was really good in that I was intrigued. I was like interested the whole episode, except that you could tell just the way that it was moving and everything, and the way that the reveals came with the solutions, that they were going to, and the ticking clock on like when she's going to give birth, that they were going to solve this and fix it in this episode.
See,
Yeah,
but
that's...
at the same time, though, I felt that the stakes were incredibly high. I honestly thought they were going to kill Katrina. I honestly did.
I know, and that's why I was like, wah, wah, missed opportunity.
Oh, see, that's why you don't like it.
No, it's not. It's one of the many reasons why I don't like it. But I also don't like... What we got was just stuff we knew, that they want to bring Moloch to Earth. Okay, we get that. Moloch. That Moloch, whatever, Moloch. I say it like I'm from Chicago.
Chicago's not one of the colonies. Neither is Illinois. The state that
You know,
is
I
in.
think we had this discussion last week about
I thought
what
the
we think.
Weeping Lady episode had more at stake.
I love the
Yes.
Weeping Lady episode. We had this discussion last week about why we think the show is great, but not really hitting those high notes that we were so used to in the first season. And our YouTube commenters had a lot of good points, which was one of them was that last season it was all building up to this finale, and it was all building up to all these things where we felt like, oh my god, the danger is real, things are moving super fast,
Yes.
what are they going to do to prevent this? And it ended with Ichabod in a box and Henry Parrish able to just run wild, and we're like, what is he going to do?
And he was their son. I mean,
It was
Huge
crazy.
reveals.
Yes.
But then we start this season, and there's no real suspense of getting Ichabod out of the books. He just kind of gets out of the box, and then Henry's not really running rampant. Henry's just becoming a lawyer and getting his law degree and representing Orlando Jones. I mean,
Who's
it's
stuck in Terrytown and
just-
hasn't done anything
it
new
feels
with
like-
it.
And yet, that's the one thing that got me in this episode, was like, okay, they're preventing Ichabod from seeing Frank all the time, except for this episode where Frank is able to set up a meeting between Ichabod and Henry.
And I'm sorry, but Frank's plot line with him being like having these hell visions where he's like a super bad guy are way more interesting than this whole episode. And they have him say 2 lines and then walk away. And I'm like, but your plot line is super interesting.
See, this would have been a much more intriguing story if it came at the very end of the season, is my thing, because as a 2-parter, the whole birthing thing, because
If this was the plot that they'd been building to all season or
She
something.
actually gave birth. I would have been like,
Yes.
oh my god, they failed a mission. Now we can have the plot move forward.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, doing it at the end of the season gives them that flexibility. But because I know we're mid-season, and we're not mid-season like taking a break, I know that Moloch's not coming to Earth, and I know that Katrina's probably not dead, so it ends up being kind of dull. We know they're going to solve it, and because there's such a huge, like, if they had succeeded, it's something... It finishes their goal. So this can't be a piece of a larger puzzle. It wouldn't make any sense.
But it should have been.
I feel
Exactly.
like what our complaints are here is that when you have a show that can be semi-procedural. You have like the villain, you have the monster of the week, let's say, and they solve that, and we're pretty satisfied with that because it's a monster that's really kind of unrelated to the main story, really. So we're satisfied with that arc starting and ending, and maybe getting a little information in the main story. With this one, it felt like they turned the main story into the procedural monster of the week without forwarding the story.
And you know what? Good writing takes chances. So I mean, we all know that I don't like Katrina as a character. Like, this was the end of it for me. She's barefoot and pregnant.
Killing Katrina in this episode, I think, would have been stellar. It would have been shocking.
It would have been shocking.
No one would have seen it coming.
Or alternatively, if Katrina lived and actually birthed Moloch, and you got to see like what would come out, baby Moloch, or would he have to grow up? Like that would be fascinating.
No, here's another idea. You have them
Moloch as a teenager.
Yes!
No, you end it with Moloch being born, and then the next season Moloch's a lawyer for Orlando. No. Okay, sorry. No, let me be serious for a second though. You know what would have been interesting is to create a character that's interesting with Katrina, with having them think that Moloch was aborted with the demon abortion they pulled with the Aurora Borealis.
I will walk off of this program. Steven, you gotta rein it in, pal. These are wild swings you're taking with this episode.
Okay, but what
Jesus
if Katrina?
Christ.
What if it wasn't meant for her to give birth?
Aurora Abortionalis?
What if Katrina wasn't meant to give birth?
How much do you hate me?
I won't even jar that one because that's not even a pun.
Okay, what if Katrina wasn't meant to give birth and that was just to create her as the vessel for Moloch? So, I mean, if we had gotten like a short little scene right at the end where Katrina like her eyes like flare up and you know that it's actually Moloch now as opposed to Katrina, where she is the vessel. She was never meant to give birth in the first place.
That would be awesome.
That's an interesting theory. I like that. I guess they could assume that Ichabod would solve it. He's pretty good.
They already have no chemistry.
Can I just
Katrina,
say one more thing that I like, that I think universally we can all say is a good thing that did move the plot forward finally, okay, is that the police are now on their side and we have a convincing cover story that the new captain buys. Like that's the thing. It's like bits like that to me are sufficient plot development. Now, considering the fact that there's only 13 episodes this season, and this is episode 7, and we only have, 6 episodes left, that's distressing. That's Five?
Yeah, because if this was 7.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6.
13.
We can count.
6 episodes.
I can't.
I love that they brought in the police force and then show them exactly what's going on, because that's what needed to happen.
And lends it in a way that the captain will buy and not think that they're crazy.
Yeah.
And I love that basically they also affirm Ichabod's position being there, and she's like, I'll call you later.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a criminal profiler with the experience in historical cults.
That was amazing.
I just met you, and this is crazy, but I'm a criminal profiler in historical experience.
So call me maybe.
But it's good because the running around as like he's an Oxford professor that helps me sometimes is like an old thing that's like the joke's done, get away from it. So this is a good moving forward.
Speaking of running around, how did we get from catacombs to the church randomly? I was so confused. We're like running against Hellfire Club, and then randomly we're in a church. And I'm like, how do we get to St. Henry's Parish?
Underground tunnels?
They got out of the catacombs and then they ran normally outside.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah,
maybe I was looking at my
They
notes.
were escaping after the note got burned when they showed up, and then...
The note was at the church, though, wasn't it?
No, the note was in our hub, in our Scooby Gang
That's
hub.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
In the armory.
That's what I get for live DVR tweeting it.
Yeah, bro.
But the thing that I thought, the other part that I thought was great moving us forward is finally getting Katrina out of Abraham's little like.
She's gonna go back next week.
But at the same time, also
she's gonna go back next week.
Well, yeah, but Well, can I please? It's sowing a lot of interesting seeds here. The seeds of dissent between Katrina and Ichabod as he continues to get more and more jealous of Abraham. The fact that Abraham and Henry, are now at odds.
And he now knows that she can talk to Abraham, that he has a head.
And that she kept that from him for this long. Like, that's the thing. I liked all of the little seeds that we got this episode while having a very strong central story. I understand that we haven't gotten the level of forward motion in the plot that we wanted this season, and I think that really comes down to Jeremy as a character, to Henry as a character. He's been doing these little fetch quests and all these little random ways of trying to get Moloch to Earth instead of having a grand master plan, which, since he was hiding in plain sight last season, we thought that he was more of a mastermind than he really is. Moloch slapped him down last episode and told him, stop making plans, you're a soldier, you're going to do what I want, and what I want you to do is to try to bring me to Earth every week. So we shouldn't be blaming Henry, we should be blaming Moloch, who is not creative.
No, he's not. He's not. But in his defense, neither is Katrina, who is trying to get information about him.
That's true, but she wore jeans this episode and she survived.
I miss, though, I was saying this to one of the fans, that I miss the fact that there's not enough Frank and Jenny this season.
No Fran, Janicki, Merleving.
And
they've not shared one scene together all
season. They're arguably two of the, and not even sharing a scene, just having them in the mix more. They're two very interesting characters, and you've basically sidelined them.
I think there is room for that, though. I think they've played the characters and wrote them in such a way that we could get Jenny back at Terrytown with Frank to have like that be the escape. Does that make sense?
We could, but more than halfway through the season, we haven't.
I know, but I think they might be like laying it out for future. Because I mean, even they're doing a lot of interesting stuff again with Henry Parrish, in that they're really shoving down our throats this idea of redemption for him and have hope. Even if I die, have faith.
He's a horseman, though. How can he repent? How can he be redeemed? He's a horseman.
I actually, though, think that would be... I like that element of it, because I think that would be the most interesting, because that's what tears everybody apart, because Abby agrees that he's a horseman, he shouldn't be able to do that, but how fascinating would it be if he tried to turn on Moloch and it turned against him because he can't?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, look, these are not... The horsemen of the apocalypse don't have to be something new. In theory, there have been different horsemen of war, different of all these different types over the millennia. So in theory, what if he does redeem himself, but in doing so passes the torch unwillingly to Katrina or another character? What if he unwillingly passes the torch to Frank?
Well, yeah, I was thinking, that's what I said like 5 episodes ago, was I said that I think Frank might become the new Horseman of War, and Henry becomes good. But what's also interesting is you look at when Moloch gives Henry the ability to summon his soldier, his knight in flaming armor, per se. It seems that Moloch has the power to make anyone a horseman he wants to. So if he can make anyone, he can take it away from anyone. So if Henry denounces it, he's just going to make a new Horseman of War, and whether that's Frank or whether that's Jenny or whether that's somebody else like Holly, we have yet to know.
We also still have 2 horsemen to go.
Well, that's what I want to know.
Well, that's the thing, though. I feel like they're trying to avoid having to introduce a new horseman every year, because there are only 4, and this is supposed to be a 7-year journey. And lest we forget, they didn't skip forward a year. We're still technically only months after the end of season 1, which means we're still in year 1 of the 7 years of tribulation.
We don't need it like Sleepy Hollow Pokemon, like... I liked the original 4 Horsemen. When they brought in the extra 5 and then the extra 10, I wasn't a fan anymore.
No, but if you get us the 4 Horsemen early, you can do things like swap them out, or you don't have to use new horsemen as a reveal. Like, with those 4 people in play, there could be enough dynamics. This is still sounding a lot like
Pokemon.
A little bit, kind of. I mean, you just don't want... it's supposed to be if 4 horsemen are around at the same time, the apocalypse is happening.
Right.
Like, that's what it's supposed to be. So to bring out... The fact that they've already brought out 2 is kind of pushing the story forward, and that's why I feel like the first season was amazing, because its pacing was spot on, but then they hit the second season, oh my god, we have an amazing show here. How do we make it last more than 4 or 5 seasons? we stretch it out and we stall and have a lot of episodes that don't advance the story very
And
much.
add a guy who lives out by the docks who doesn't really serve any purpose.
Did y'all see my movie yet? Interstellar. It's out in theaters.
Part of what I
good.
feel like it's
see
suffering
waves.
from a little bit is just the.
Those aren't mountains, those are waves.
But part of what I feel like it's
Earth's
struggling
dying.
from is the fact that Sleepy Hollow is a show that kind of goes back and forth between like a serial and an episodic.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous line to walk. We really
But
need
other
to,
shows do it
Other shows
successfully.
do it.
Very
they do it,
successfully.
but it's not happening for me. Like this week was a very serialized episode. Last week with the Wendigo felt like a very episodic episode, but last week I just had more fun.
They just need to know when to go serialized and when to
But
go episodic.
when you
I'm
think
just
of
gonna
last
say
week,
we're at $28 because you know
That $5 one put us up a
it
lot.
really did. You had to do it.
But last week we actually got so much backstory that we wanted to get, and then we got even before that in the Weeping Lady episode we got a lot of backstory, and I think there was a lot of reveals. The only reveal we really got about Henry was stuff that we kind of already knew, that he had a troubled childhood, that his parents want to redeem him.
But it's also that his little scared inner child is still very much alive.
Oh, we knew that because John Noble is a phenomenal actor who's been acting that this whole time.
I just want a reason that we need to turn him. I just want a reason that we need Katrina around. That's the thing. It's like we do all this trouble to save Katrina. Why are we saving her? She's my wife. Okay. But she's not important to saving the world right now. She hasn't done anything.
But he loves her. I don't understand.
But
Why?
she makes paper things that protect
But
the
then
doorway.
it's the same with John Noble with Henry Parrish. It's like you need to turn him around. You need to turn. Okay, he's the son, but like I want a motivation. Like I want.
The motivation there, though, is family love, because like people, just all over the place, people feel that if someone in their family is doing something wrong, they want to help them.
Yeah, that's true. I want Katrina to be more important in this, and they tried to say like she's a Hellfire Shard. I just want to know what that is. Like I want to have more information on why
But
she's
apparently
important.
just means eating a bug and being almost pregnant.
I mean,
No, I think there's definitely a lot more to whatever being a Hellfire Shard
Yeah.
is. That's because he could have, in theory, come up through almost any vessel. There's a reason it had to be her, and it doesn't just stop at this
and
birth
is
episode.
anyone else wondering? You know, hey, Katrina was housing Moloch in herself, and she was going to give.
I'm proud of you.
I
I'm
stopped
very
myself.
proud of you.
And
You could just say womb.
yes. And there was not much room for Moloch.
In her womb.
But no, like she was housing
29.
Moloch as the demon they summoned, right? Okay, well, what about that guy that she saw the hand of that had the same marks on it? Remember?
Oh,
in the Hellfire
yeah.
place.
Oh, okay, so fair, maybe they
are
tried.
they just summoning Moloch like every Saturday? It's like, hey, Moloch Summoning Club.
Well, maybe they
Come to
but
the Hellfire
She
Club.
said that those bodies had been there for
What's the
probably
password? 666.
For a couple of days.
No, she said weeks.
Weeks.
But so maybe
12
they were.
hours is the
Maybe they were
incubation
trying,
time.
but maybe they were trying with regular people and it wasn't succeeding. So that's why they had to take Katrina. That's why Henry and his little drone dudes marched in there and were like, "We're taking her. We need her because this experiment's not working."
So here's my
But she
question.
had already been infected by the Jinkin. Are we forgetting the Jinkin of it
yeah,
all?
but that was the night before. That's what I'm saying. They infect her with. It's not working. These regular human vessels aren't succeeding. So they're like, all right, get the Jinkin. We're gonna send it and get Katrina, and then we're gonna go take her, and we're gonna give birth to our Lord and Savior Moloch.
So I'm gonna start an argument here. And
Wait, can we also just point out that the fans pointed this out last week, that I agree, how gross it is that technically Henry impregnated his mom.
It's really
so-
gross.
Yes.
And how gross is it that literally they were like, well, if Henry did this, he can undo it. So they're going to their son to take care of it.
Okay. All right.
Planned parenthood.
Okay.
It's sort of creepy.
29. I hate you. I despise.
King of filth.
every.
King of slime.
King of lies.
Scandalous.
All right.
Before we get into iTunes, I want to bring up the argument that the tablet
Magic
tells
tablet.
you how to create a demon with Jinkin. It has all the instructions, right?
Yeah.
And
it's like a
Hessians like to
cookbook.
have their cell phone out and just I did everything that the instructions said. There's even notes in the margins from college students who rented this before me.
Stop it.
But why would you hide the thing that can kill the demon, the Aurora Borealis thing, in the instructions on how to make a demon?
I agree.
It's not for us to decide.
That makes total sense to me. Franklin wasn't it. They said Benjamin Franklin was a secret agent inside the Hellfire Club,
he was a
working
secret
against them.
agent inside
They
the
asked him
Hellfire
to
Club.
make this tablet thing, and he knew what it was going to do, so he hid the way to stop it right in the tablet.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally.
then
How did I miss that entire thing?
Because you were on your laptop tweeting jokes
No.
instead of watching the show like a fan.
Okay, wait. Now, I was actually watching the show like a fan and not tweeting anything, and I still... It's not that I missed that, but I still find it...
You need to stop.
You guys, do you need a room?
Both need to just go make out in the bathroom. And come
I
back
need
in
you to
5
make your
minutes.
point, Jackie.
I still don't understand that because it makes it harder. He had to have known that it would make it harder for our heroes, or any hero whatsoever, to get that magic prism.
Hide it in plain sight.
Yes,
Wherever that tablet's
but
going to
if
be,
you
that's
knew
where the Jinkin's
tablet-
going to be.
If you knew the tablet was with the Hellfire Club, then how is someone outside who's going to try and stop that get a hold of that? It makes it harder.
But if it's in what if the tablet had been taken to England? Then the prism is in colonial America, and you've got huge plane flights to
Obviously, you can just call on the cell phone and be reading out the instructions to somebody else.
Okay, look, we are quibbling over this point, okay? And I need to talk about iTunes. I need to give some very important shout-outs. May I
First,
please...
can I give a shout out to someone who tweeted me before I watched this episode and was like, "The day is saved by a magical stone," and I was like, which it's not. I don't know if they said stone or crystal, but I was like, "Oh, it reminds me of Sailor Moon again."
All right, folks. I say it every week, don't skip ahead, because it's the truth. Go to iTunes, rate and review the show. It's the best way to support AfterBuzz TV. We put out over 80 hours of free podcast content, free podcast content, free podcast content every single week. It's the widest array of after show content on any platform anywhere in the world. It's a big deal.
You're a wonderful audience.
Please don't do a Jimmy impression, please. That's not. Please don't.
I feel like we need to explain that that's from South Park.
From
Yes,
South
that is
Park.
from South Park.
I do the South
doesn't
Park
know.
after show, guys.
Yeah,
There you go.
and you don't plug your shows till the end, please. I know. Anyway, you get a shout out here on the show. You can tell right now I'm not in my happiest place. I'm sitting next to him, and it's driving me insane.
Before you came in here, you were in your nappiest place.
I was in my nappiest place because we were
was
supposed to
taking a
tape this
nap.
show an hour earlier, and there was a miscommunication. A wonderful podcast. 5 stars from Lana Vez. Love the insights of all the members of this podcast. Especially love the beautiful Jackie's justified hatred for Katrina. Be careful she don't trip you, Crane. The Stephen Matt Hate Mance is also perfect, and a bonus to every episode they are both in. Glad someone is getting some enjoyment from it. I can't wait for
They're
the
not
next
even
episode,
facing each other.
even though I'm creeped out for that Henry technically impregnated his own mother. You guys have me lizzing. 5 stars. Oh, great 30-star rock reference from a little bit of Monica in my life. I love when y'all talk like Matthew McConaughey.
That's right.
But
Don't encourage him.
But I agree with Matt that Holly is the second worst after Katrina, especially considering that last season the show established that Jenny Mills, all caps, was an artifact hunter who traveled all over the world collecting things for Corbin, which means everything Holly has done this season could have been done by Jenny, except for making out with herself and staring lustily at Abby, who couldn't care less.
I think she could have still done that with the mirror.
He's taken away more screen time from more interesting and more important characters. His presence presence has severely reduced Jenny's agency. I love this. This is like a very well written.
It's a very well written
very
comment.
good point. Holly needs to Wendigo, Punjar, or he needs to be inexplicably replaced like Dario on Game of Thrones by Big Ash. I'm a big fan of Big Ash.
A lot of people were a big fan of Big Ash, including me. I think they should bring back the Native Americans.
Me too. What is the deal with the sheriffs? 5 stars from Master K814. We had 3 sheriffs on the show. 1 murdered, 1 in the nut ward, and the latest sheriff was the one. Yes, before she became sheriff, she was the one who put the Mills girl's mother away in the nut house. Can't read. So what is the connection with all these people who get the job as sheriff? Will the role of a sheriff play a big role in this war? I love your podcast. And laughing my head off, Techno Griffin, 5 stars. Not only do they give you a chance to win cash, but they really break down the show well. It's nice to be able to hear theories and perspective I haven't thought of before, not to mention major eye candy.
Thanks.
They're talking about Zach and his mustache.
I'll have one next week.
Yes. Katrina and Ichabod, 5 stars. Sonia Dyson, love this podcast. Tried others, but this is the one for the 2 best things. Katrina will have issues like all parents about their children. Clearly, Abby wants to deal with Henry issue differently. She wants to go in guns blazing, not with a mother's love. Katrina is all about saving Henry. Ichabod's duties as a witness will be the source of Katrina's problems. 2, Ichabod is slowly adjusting to the 21st century, video games, and pop culture. Katrina will resent that and might try to remove Abby, thus creating issues.
Issues.
Scandalously funny, 5 stars from Destiny Morna. I totally agree this season of Sleepy Hollow has been good, but not great. Thankfully, this podcast makes up for it. Remains hilariously funny and insightful with the best panel on AfterBuzz TV. Jackie's critiques are on point. Zach is a welcome addition to the panel. Steven is always funny, love his puns, and Matt keeps the gang rolling. I agree with Zach. I'm ready to ship Abby Joe, despite the age difference, rather than Abby Holly, who have absolutely zero chemistry. Yep. I think everyone should go watch this podcast. Wendigo Jenkins. Who's Jenkins? Did we Jenkins?
Leroy Jenkins? No, maybe
Jenkins. Sleepington Abbey. It's scandalous, most scandalous, deliciously funny indulgence that I look forward to every week. Sometimes more fun than the show itself. Great show. Michael B. 5 stars.
So many.
Okay, I can't believe it's been a year since I rated you guys, but I do watch and comment on YouTube. I was thinking Jack may hate me. Could the actors playing Katrina and Orlando be involved in other projects? Maybe that's why they don't have any other major screen time. When Orlando was here last year, he was talking about he was prepping his movie. Maybe he was shooting it, but it's just sort of like, why would he do that in the middle of the season of the only show that he's on? That doesn't make sense. I don't think that that's the reason. Favorite podcast, Miss Tara, 5 stars. Love this podcast. Could listen to Matt and his associates talk about anything. Love it. From Teaspoon Arts. This is an absolutely amazing podcast with absolutely amazing hosts. So hilarious. Jackie B is the queen bee at AfterBuzz.
Okay. That was a lot.
The big point that I really liked, I can't remember who it was, but the point about that somebody made about Native American actors and everything, if they had cast Holly as an actual Native American, that's where you would have gotten your major diversity and an interesting character.
Yeah,
that's what's missing.
And regular, sexy.
There's so much that they're playing with Native American culture in this show, and there's so much they could play with, especially with like magic. Like you could bring in like a tribal magic to this show. That would be something amazing. Mm-hmm. And you have no Native American parts on television. It is something sorely missing from our TV guide.
Except on Banshee. Watch Banshee if you want Native American parts on television.
They got it in Hell on Wheels, too.
Yeah. I want to talk about things that I liked this episode, okay? The sequence where they're pulling Katrina out of the house and Henry is fighting Headless. When Headless throws the axe at one of the dudes. It was awesome.
And it was awesome because Headless got to be Headless again.
Yes.
That's when we like Headless.
In weeks.
Yeah.
I'm badass, I'm badass, sunlight! I'm badass, I'm badass, sunlight!
It was awesome. He was all his old flailing headless self.
It was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
I do really want like a DVD menu option where you could just like click off like where he has a head and like watch the scene again where there's just a guy going like and then Henry responding.
Yeah.
Well, you know it's a different guy, right?
Yeah, Derek Mears plays regular Headless.
And then you know who plays Headless where you can actually see his face?
There's 3 Headlesses. There's horse riding Headless, and then
you know the guy who talks to Katrina? Abraham. You know who plays Abraham?
I don't remember his name.
Neil Jackson, who will be a guest on our show next week, live in studio here at AfterBuzz TV.
Hey!
Oh, there's a plug.
So that's a reason to tune in. Okay, what else?
I must internet.
You must internet. I loved that.
Dial up.
Yeah.
Why do they have dial-up?
Because it's in the church, duh.
Look, they
No,
didn't-
I thought that was...
Even churches have DSL.
Yeah.
No, it was at the church. It's an abandoned church that the termites have gotten to. They're lucky to
How
have
does
power.
the internet even work there?
I don't know.
I don't know. They should have married somebody. Then they'd at least have Wi-Fi.
Are we at $30 yet?
Yeah, we're
or
at $30.
am I just crazy?
No, we're at $30.
Blind from
We're
rage.
7 episodes in, and we're at $30.
Yeah.
That's actually not that bad.
Yeah, no,
we got
last
to
year...
60 by 12.
Yeah, last year when we did the Orlando interview, he got us up $20 whole in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I love the effects as Moloch was clawing, trying to get out of her stomach.
Why was he ripping his own skin off?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird.
He was pulling off his own face.
They said something about the blood of... what's it, the blood of the... It was something with the tears of the parents.
Here in purgatory.
It was something with the tears of the parents and the blood of something. Maybe it was Moloch's blood.
Maybe.
This
He needs some moisture.
microdermabrasion is
I
so
know.
Hideous king.
It's too hot here in purgatory.
Yes.
Must use moisturizer.
The horrid king.
The horrid king. And
Yeah.
that was interesting how like he acted when they said the horrid king, because demons are supposed to get power from their name when you say their name.
Yeah.
So him saying, it looks like his name is the horrid king. Like hurt a lot.
Man, you guys do impressions of Holly all the time. I should do an impression of Katrina all the time.
You just
would
like
just be-
say useless information. That was spot on.
Thanks.
I haven't seen an impression that good since I was doing a movie back with Angelina Jolie. You heard of her? Yeah, she's pretty cool. So we were doing a
Name a movie that Matthew McConaughey actually did with Angelina Jolie.
You know, it wasn't a movie that you put out there.
That's because there isn't one. That's not a movie they've ever done.
And no,
together.
you are not insinuating that they had sex either.
Yes.
It was no insinuation.
Anyway, I am excited about where we're moving this season. I like that we've complicated these relationships a bit. I like that we're finally on the side of the cops and we can start bringing people back into this world.
Yes.
They saw Henry as a little boy running through a forest, and I think that he saw the 4 white trees, and that's how he got turned into being part of Moloch.
Into being part of
Into being
Or maybe
associated with
Moloch
Moloch.
was just standing there and he was like,
You want some candy?
come to my arms. And then he just rocked him with his big cloven hand hoof things.
I mean, that's
Son.
entirely possible. We're
Son,
probably gonna
you'll
get
be okay.
We're probably gonna get more flashbacks
I will give you
to him as a
treats.
kid to kind of get a better sense of his motivations.
I will send you to school.
Did anyone else have a little bit of
Sandwiches
feels
won't have
when
condiments on them.
when when Ichabod and Katrina kiss and Abby's like, I can't watch this.
She literally couldn't right now.
There was a moment when they're outside and like I know Jackie was probably jumping up and down where Abby is standing there like sort of looking off into the distance like
Yeah, she's like the unfortunate third wheel when she shouldn't be. She's one of the witnesses.
Well, but it's not necessarily that she like wants him. It's more like when you have a close friend and you're disappointed in their choices when
Yes.
they pick somebody that you know is bad for them,
Yes.
who's proven to be an untrustworthy lady who probably trips girls and sends them over cliffs,
With vines.
lies, and then comes back and lights paper on fire to get attention.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like that.
Exactly.
Just like that.
Fine.
Makes juice to call the birds over.
Makes blueberry bird juice.
Yeah.
Sends telegrams that have literally no information in them whatsoever.
Ichabod.
I bet Katrina's the type of girl that Ichabod's like, where do you want to go to dinner, babe? She's like, I don't know. You decide. And then they just like sit there for an hour trying to decide.
all of them are like that, Steven.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Can we talk about...
All
I'm
men
not
are
like that.
too. Everyone does that.
Can we talk about how great it was to have Ichabod and Henry in a scene together where they
Yes.
actually got
So
to hash
good.
it out?
Yes.
I thought John Noble's performance in that scene was absolutely stellar.
Yes.
Wait, you saying he wasn't in his other scenes? Dude, he's stellar in every scene I see him in. It's like I
Yeah.
can't,
But that
I can't
was
even
like-
pick out a scene.
He got even better
He
material
pretty
there.
much farts acting magic.
Yeah, he's like Michael Caine.
He is like Michael.
Dude, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the screener that doesn't, the bass between those two men's voices going back and forth. I felt like the bass might blow out.
Yeah. That's right, Father. It's Moloch.
You know, I do have a choice. It could be you or Katrina or Moloch, and I choose Moloch. Choose Moloch.
I think it's funny that they were voting earlier in the episode, and then he's like,
I cast my vote for Moloch.
and I like that Zach was actually in the episode. He even has the sticker to prove it.
Yeah, he voted too.
Why on earth is Ichabod defending what is clearly like an unfair campaign practice on the part of George Washington, giving people beer at the polling place if they vote for him?
He likes beer. We
Yeah,
saw
that's
that
true.
2
He
episodes
loves beer.
You're
We
gonna
saw
vote
that.
honestly if you're drinking.
Last
But
episode.
I think that they've made a lot of comparisons on this show to how things were in ye olden times and today.
Ye olden times.
And today. And there are some things that were better in the sense that people communicated more, and then there were things that were worse, like a lot of people didn't have rights, which Abby points out. She wouldn't have had the right to vote.
2 amendments, 2.
Yeah, she wouldn't have had the right to vote 3 times over. So I think it's interesting because each person who comes from their time period has a certain affinity for certain practices in their time period, and maybe what the message is that we blend a little A and B.
I like how Katrina still doesn't have any idea about technology, and I forgot about that. Because like, I really kind of thought that she's in purgatory, but she kind of still understands what's going on in the real world. No, here's this radio. It's a magic box that'll let me be always with you.
What?
What is this?
You're a wizard, Harry.
This is better than all of my magic.
It's true.
You can literally buy magic better than Katrina at the dollar store.
Yes, you can.
That was
Ichabod, I'm going to cast a spell on you that I can talk to you from miles away if
With
I have a
this
good
bird
magical signal.
and bird juice
Here,
and
just take the radio.
Here,
Just take
it's a Boost Mobile. Okay, I have location magic. I can tell where you.
you have chirp. You have chirp. Brink. Yeah. Anyway,
It is one of the things that I do like about what this episode potentially sets up for Katrina moving forward. That her character could see some development. Like we start to see bits and pieces of it in this episode where the little opening scene. It's like, yes, it's like a nightmare memory or whatever that she's spinning, but they're longing for a family, for normalcy when the war is over. That she would do anything she would do anything to get to that point that he's talking about. That point where they can just have a bunch of strapping young lads that aren't trying to kill them.
They have the worst freaking pillow talk ever.
oh, okay.
Like, I'm watching the scene and I'm just like, that is not what people talk about after they just like did what they did. Like, they're not going to be talking about.
Wasn't that
George Washington was doing this today? Blah.
Wasn't that a dream sequence?
It was, but
but it played like a memory that was being distorted.
Yeah, it didn't. It's just
sometimes when you're in a couple for a long time, you wind up talking about work
but they
and
just
bed.
don't have any chemistry.
Yes,
and I hate it because it's like I'm literally looking at him like with his arm around her in bed, and I still feel like
it's
they're
like a
best
wooden
friends.
arm. Sorry, I need to attack you.
I disagree, and we're not going to be on the same page about this. I think one last thing that I like about this episode, and it's going to go into predictions, which we will do momentarily, but this is the second episode in a row where we end with a tease of what's coming next.
Henry has a punch jar.
Yes.
He has
magic lightning in a bottle. I feel like
He's storing the $30.
He's storing the feeling that we had watching the pilot. He's storing the first season. Lightning in a bottle. He's storing the first season in a bottle. Okay,
guys, if it's a genie, I'm gonna be like a djinn.
It's not a djinn.
That would be awesome.
Is it djinn or gin?
That could be really
It's a gin.
cool.
The D is silent. It's like
awesome.
Django Unchained.
Awesome.
But it's not because it has
Would you guys totally watch a movie called Django Unchained where he's actually a djinn?
That sounds terrible.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm gonna free everybody. No,
I know
watch
it's
me
not.
over here.
I don't know
No,
why.
she's free. She's free. Look, what you're doing? What you're doing? You're going.
Robin
No, I'm free.
Williams
I'm free.
you're really gonna
is
do a
turning
bad
in his
Robin
grave.
Williams right now?
Turning in his grave.
Bad Robin Williams from Django Unchained.
Okay, and
Oh look,
You
I'm
don't like
unchained.
that.
Now I'm chained. Now I'm unchained.
it sounds racist. With that, we go into predictions. Lord.
Oh, how does Ichabod know CPR now?
Because
He learned
Holly.
after. Yeah, he watched Holly, and he doesn't ever want to be caught in that situation
You
ever
have to
again.
imagine he went to a class after that.
And honestly,
Yeah.
he hasn't had any like physical contact with Katrina for a while, so can you really blame him?
Okay, CPR is not. I hate it when people make CPR seem like it's really sexy.
It's really not.
It's really not
Jackie
sexy.
Okay, he's just trying to set you
Just
off,
setting you
Jeff.
off, Jackie. Sorry.
CPR is not sexy. When people are dying and you're trying to revive them,
You
it's
don't
not
use tongue.
sexy.
You don't use
yeah,
tongue.
you're not like. Blah, blah, blah.
No, but you're saving a life, and that is sexy.
There's
That
nothing
is-
sexier than saving a life.
Yeah, the kiss you have after the CPR is the sexy kiss.
Princess is in another castle.
Silence.
Okay, so it
You
looks
work
like
that magic,
it looks
Steve.
like next episode we will be seeing a succubus who is going to prey on Holly's latent feelings for Abby, and she's going to rescue him, and that's how she's going to discover that she has feelings for him.
Yeah.
Boo!
Yeah. No, first off, I think it's so annoying that they, instead of having some sort of character confrontation, they have to do it through like a demon, where they learn about something through a demon, instead of just learning about their feelings. Like they come out.
Well, no, but like that, when you put it that way, that's like what a good supernatural show does. It puts you through these crazy magical demon situations, and you have to learn about yourself in the process.
Yeah.
But if they, but you also don't want to force it where.
It feels
Yes.
forced.
Well, we haven't seen it yet.
The previews felt forced.
It felt
and
very
I don't like that we
forced.
have a barefoot pregnant woman who's stuck up in an entire episode, and then we have a succubus. I mean, it makes me feel like they're pooping
Very
on
anti-women
very
this season.
anti-women this
Yeah,
season.
first show that's got a big lead female.
Right, because our
character.
let's talk about our female characters real quick. We've Abby, who's always a strong
Yeah,
woman.
she's always badass in
always
whatever
strong
she does.
and great. Katrina, who's largely a wet noodle, and now she has an opportunity to do something. Rarely does it. Barefoot and pregnant this episode. Jenny, who was an extremely strong female character, who has been reduced to the girl who has the crush on the guy who's going to fall in love with her sister and is going to be all mad about it. And it's just sort of like, and the captain, who is just a wet blanket. So
They actually gave the captain something to do in this episode where you kind of get more of an understanding of her. What are we pointing at?
No, I'm pointing to Matt. He's going off frame.
okay.
Oh. I actually felt like I got more of an understanding of the captain, because I felt like when I first watched her, she was being unduly unfair to them, and then I realized, no, okay, she sees this as a job. If they prove themselves, she accepts them. Good to go.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when she's more confronted with the magic
supernatural
world.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna get the knight in flaming armor and
Frankenstein.
Well, Frankenstein, but our Frank
Right.
running around like demonified. When the new captain sees that, that changes things.
I think what we're going to see is the succubus showing the true intentions of Holly towards Abby. Jenny's going to see that. We're going to have that drama there. And then the succubus is going to show Abby's true intentions towards Ichabod.
Yes.
And Jenny's going to see that. That's going to clear up their romance thing, but Katrina's going to somehow know.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
And
Okay.
then she's gonna make bird juice.
All right. Well, if it somehow turns into revealing that Abby has feelings for Ichabod and didn't even realize it,
I like that.
that to me makes almost everything bad that has happened this season worth it.
It's going to show. It's going to have the succubus find Holly. Like, hi. Oh, my deepest feelings are towards myself. I just want to
No.
look in the mirror now for a second
boy.
here.
All right.
My biggest hero is myself.
All right. Can we pull up that Downton Abbey theme, please? Folks,
Ready?
welcome back to another edition of Sleepington Abbey. Previously on Sleepington Abbey. The citizens of Langfordshire were disgusted and determined to drive Katrina Crane out from the Abbey for her lecherous attempts to fool around on her husband Ichabod Crane. Her decision to wear jeans.
Most scandalous.
Most scandalous.
Terrifying.
Yes. Now the citizens of Sleepington Abbey gathered to discuss the goings-on of Katrina Crane, Ichabod Crane, and Madame's Mills, Abby, and Jennifer. Mesdames and messieurs, we are now French. I have the most shocking news.
Do tell.
Lady Succubus has come to town, and she has driven a wedge between the sisters Mills, who are both apparently interested in that lowly serving boy, Mr. Hawley.
Oh, scandalous.
Most scandalous.
It makes me rather gumfront.
What does that mean exactly?
Go ahead. Do your turn.
I was at the market yesterday, picking up some partridges for my pear tree.
Dude.
And I do say I saw a Miss Katrina Crane with a bump of a baby sort. I do say
Scandalous.
the next day I saw her when I was in the town square, and she did not have it, nor with child.
Most
Scandalous! Scandalous indeed.
Aurora Borealsian.
I say that none of this would even be possible if that Katrina Crane had not been wandering about with her hair down like a poor man's girl.
Scandalous.
Her red wings flopping about in the breeze without a care in the world. I say we should run her out of this town.
Run her right out of this town.
Burn the witch!
Now you're Irish.
I don't know.
Oi!
Just let me be.
This is a multicultural authorities.
I heard that Miss Katrina Crane was half naked in the church, attempting to give birth
To what?
a demon baby. Scandalous.
Terrifying.
I heard word from a telegram that she may have been all right while staying with Abraham, who's not her husband.
Most
Scandalous.
I heard that she maketh the blueberry bird juice, and then do absolutely nothing of use with it. Most scandalous.
Fairly useless.
Delicious.
I have seen her lighting papers aflame within a room very dusty and full of many things that could catch flame and spread.
Most scandalous.
Not quite smart.
Stupid.
Yeah. All right, folks. I want to thank y'all for joining us for another edition of the Sleepy Hollow After Show. Unfortunately, I will not be here next week. I've been called away for work. I know, most scandalous. I will be in San Francisco, but these three are going to be holding it down super, super tight. Mr. Stephen Lemieux, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux, as well as doing the Sons of Anarchy. Coming up, we have Helix as well as South Park. And I do want to shout out one thing that I forgot to say this episode. When I was live tweeting, I just had in my head the Doctor Give Me the News song with Katrina.
Got a bad
case of nothing to do.
Oh, brother.
That's actually really good.
Guys, I'm Zach Wilson. You catch me on Twitter at that Zach Wilson. That's that THATZACHWILSON. Also here at AfterBuzz, a ton of shows. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back next week. Resurrection Grimm. We had a fantastic interview this past Sunday. If you didn't catch it, with Claire Coffey and Brian Letcher.
So cool.
I'm at 123Jackie_B on Twitter, at 123JackieB, all one word on Instagram, and Jackie is spelled JACQUE.
Okay. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MATTLIEBERMAN. You can find all my videos for SourceFed Nerd on my personal channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Matthew D. Lieberman. Here doing Sons of Anarchy, Doctor Who finale this coming week. Very, very excited about that. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Thanks, folks. See you next week. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Good night, sleepyheads.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.